TV, and we got a game 4 in Philly. Joel Embiid spent a restless night, sick.
Again?
Yeah, and you'll hear from Brett Brown about his.
Well, I got a quarter for you.
On that play.
I got a quarter for you.
What's a quarter for?
You can call somebody who gives a.
Oh, you're all heart, Ben.
I'm gonna use
Kawhi Leonard.
Come on,
What?
man.
With the feed and Ibaka. Where's Ben Simmons? There he is.
This was all about
Kawhi
Leonard today, boy.
Oh, nice lip under.
How do you see? He's
Just
Kid, have you ever seen him and Jokic play the game at their pace?
Yeah. Yep.
They never look like they're going fast.
Nope. Can't rush him.
Yeah.
the half. Kawhi again.
Step back.
Come on, right.
Man,
It's Kevin Humphrey right between the eyes.
He had 14 points in the thirds, tied at 75 heading to the fourth. It's Philadelphia trying to take a 3-1 lead. 84-81. Nick Nurse, what you going to do? Well, you got Kawhi, you got Marc Gasol, who had 16. His high in the series, 4.
He really stepped up, him and Kyle Lowry today, and Serge Ibaka, who had been MIA. Quit cheating that pick, Kyle Lowry.
J.J. Redick had. But you go to the guy who had 39.
Lord.
And 5 assists. Kawhi Leonard, man alive. 13 out of 20 from the field. Guys shooting 60% in the series.
I was shooting way up there.
Yes, I mean, it's incredible. 101-96, Toronto avoids that 3-1 hole by winning in Philadelphia. Now, here's the news that Brett Brown shared, because the last thing you want, first thing in the morning, is a text from your star.
I got a text from him at 6:20 a.m. this morning telling me like he didn't sleep all night, he'd really never felt this poorly, and he was unsure, Coach, if I'm going to play. I just want to give you a heads up. To his complete credit, you know, he just kind of willed his way through it.
He's a little bit sick, banged up, but we just want him to be aggressive. You know, hell, if you're going to go 2 for 7, go 2 for 20. Like I said, we rocking with Joe. That's what we need out of him, to always be aggressive.
Kawhi was obviously Kawhi, but you needed more from somewhere else.
Looking to shoot, taking the shots, first shot that was there. You know, when they're putting 2 or 3 on the ball, you know, you got to get off it, and if you're open, you got to let her fly, because there's not anybody out there that we don't want shooting the ball.
That's the big thing. We got to take the shots that are there. They're a swarming team, and when they swarm, we got to make them pay.
Kyle Lowry, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 6 out of 13 shooting. Meantime, the Claw. So he's had at least 30 in every one of these games in this series. Averaging 38 a game against the Sixers and shooting 62%.
Come on,
Kenny. Those are crazy numbers. That's video game numbers.
But what happens, Ernie, when you play in a series, typically an advantage you have, you got a game 1. Oh, that advantage doesn't change in game 2. And unless the advantage is tactical. But to me, it's not tactical. He has the size and strength to shoot over the position that's guarding him, period. And then when you put big on him, he has the ability to drive by it. They don't have the personnel to slow him down. And he will get the shot he wants. And I've always said this, being a great basketball player is not about taking shots, not even about making shots. It's the decision when to take it and when to make it. That makes a great superstar, and that's what he's been.
And I'm going to disagree with Kid.
They have personnel that can guard him?
I think between Ben Simmons...
Can guard him.
Let me make my point. You can agree. Between Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, and Tobias Harris, he should not be averaging 40 points a game. I mean, all those guys are 6'5", 6'6".
Too little.
And they're good size. First of all, Ben Simmons is bigger than him.
He's too big. Those are the two.
But
and that's when he drives by them, and he goes in the post, and he chews you to death against those other ones.
Listen, man, you got
the analytical worst shot he takes all the time.
You got 3 guys. One of those guys got to take the personal challenge. A guy who's averaging 38 points a game. Somebody got to take the challenge.
Because one, you've been saying, I'm going to say he is a superstar.
Yes.
Secondly, he knows what it takes to win the championship. And a lot of people forget he was the MVP in one of those championships. So he knows that he has to raise his PPG per game, and that's what he's doing.
35 minutes for Joel Embiid in this game, and you heard Brett Brown talk about it. Only took 7 shots.
That's the coach's fault.
That he only took 7 shots?
No, why would you play him that minute? He called you and told you he had nothing. Did you watch that game? I watched that whole first half and I watched the whole game before I came over here. He had nothing. And the coach got to say, like, sometimes you can't ask a player, hey, yeah, I want to go in the game. You could see he had nothing. Whether he was sick or tired from Friday night, the coach got to say, hey, we're going to go with these other guys.
Superstars that had great sick games. You know, this is the time, I mean, maybe it was sick, maybe it wasn't. This ain't the time to be sick. When you step on that court during this time of the year, Kenny, this is where you make
it's okay
no,
to
it
be
ain't okay.
sick, but the acknowledgement of the sickness is not time. Like you said, the greatest player we've ever seen in our generation
had one of his best games when he was
sick. So you're on the floor, because this is how we evaluate you as analysts and coaches and even players against you. If you're on the floor, what did you do?
But let me ask
if you step on the floor, all of the we don't care. We didn't look at Siakam and go, oh, was his calf hurting? Like, he was on the floor. He was too.
Do you agree with me? The coach just said when you watch, if you playing like that in the first half, like he did, I mean, he only shot 7 times, so clearly he ain't the same guy. So as a coach, you guys say, hey, you know what? We're gonna ride and die with these other guys, because you can't have a guy out there who giving me nothing, and he gave him nothing.
I think when you tell me you're lacing up, I'm thinking you're going to be.
But what if you're not playing and you're not giving me any?
If you're not giving me any, but I think the bigger question would have been, oh, you sat Joel the whole fourth quarter and you lost in a pivotal game.
You out there, you got to play.
You got to play.
But he couldn't. He had nothing in the tank, Shaq.
Figure it out.
You care? Nobody cares.
You said a quarter, you don't want a quarter for.
How much trouble's Philly in? It's 2-2 going to Toronto for Game 5. 2 out of the next 3 in Toronto, obviously.
I'm not going to hit the panic button yet, because I've seen them step up after certain situations. But the next game is definitely a must-win. But this will be a test for them. You know, how they've been built. You know, what they've been going through, the process and all that. You know, a process will be defined by this next game. Up, or will they fold?
Yeah. Home court, the 2 out of 3. Philly had a golden opportunity. They are a talented team, man. They have everything you need to win an NBA championship. But that home court, I believe, is going to be a little bit too much for them this year.
So you don't think they can step up?
Not 2 out of. It's 2 out of. It's a series. It's 2 out of 3. Well, that's how you lock out. You forget those. Like, all right, we got to win 2 out of the next 3 at home.
And you just got the next game. Same thing with Portland, Denver. Game 5 when it's 2-2.
You got to win that home game.
You got to win that home game.
See, I wouldn't look at it as that. I wouldn't look at it as well. Teams I've been on, the coaching staff and team, we didn't look at it that way. It's 2 out of 3 now. That's it. It's not this game. It's not the game. It's 2 out of 3. And so that's why when we would lose, even in the first, when it didn't bother us as much. The great teams I've been on, the terrible ones, it would bother us all the time. But the great teams, it's like, all right, 2 out of 3. You're not going to beat us 2 out of 3. That is it.
The Raptors' defense, 6-1 when they allow under 100 points, as they did again today against the Sixers. Wells Fargo and Bleacher Report bring you Playoff Diaries, a series that gives fans control to ask Brooke Lopez questions they want the answers to. Man, oh man, oh man, are these guys playing a series, the Blazers and the Denver Nuggets, and looking at a chance to fall down 3-1. The Nuggets respond in Portland to even up the series 2 apiece.
We didn't bet, man.
Chuck, you didn't hear me say make a light on yourself?
Yeah, but we didn't come up with a number.
Kenny,
I did hear him say that.
But
then there was no number, and the usual bet, dinner bet wasn't established.
The usual dinner bet, very good.
It wasn't established.
Yeah, it was very good.
Established.
So,
I'm telling you, this was a fun game.
No, it's the series. I mean, you come after that 4 overtime game with this one that looked like it might go there. Denver, 3-1 lead over Jamal Murray and the Nuggets.
This was a gutsy game by both teams. I know they were exhausted.
Well, you tried this in a game of horse. You hang an H on somebody, don't you?
Does that count?
No, it doesn't.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This kid came to play today.
Oh, he did.
Woo, Dame Lillard.
Yeah, okay. Don't hit me on him. I'm going to cheat.
Who's that?
Seth.
The other Curry.
Yep.
Seth. Sufficient.
He had 14 in
He's a better player than his brother, too.
Use him in the second half, though.
63.
Oh, swing it.
Oh, this is good right here.
63, won 12 in a row in their gym. We go to the third quarter. And in the third, Denver outscores Portland 27. Millsap, uncontested three.
To me, was fantastic in the fourth quarter.
Oh, man.
Jokic.
Big Honey.
Big Honey is
Big
right.
Honey. Big Honey be
Sweeping
balling,
hook
man.
from Big Honey. 84-77 Denver going to the fourth quarter.
Step back, step you back.
J. lead Portland.
That was all.
That was a
Loose
nice.
ball.
Look at his pass.
Look how calmly.
I tell you what, Jokic looks like one of those guys in the hood, Ernie, get picked last, and he always wins.
Lillard strong to 693. Willie B. Buckets.
Got it.
And Gary Harris with a mid-range.
You saying the hood doesn't know how to judge?
104 to 100.
Oh, nice stutter.
Lillard.
Nice.
Where are you going to go if you're Denver? Shot clock winding down. Again. 107-102.
Oh, right back at you.
Rodney Hood, who was so huge in the 4 overtime game, connects. And Lillard got an opening.
Oh.
This kid
And here's Jamal Murray.
his free throws ain't even touching the rim.
No, not even thinking about it. 11 for 11 on the night from.
But this was big. Could have been a three. If it was a three.
Oh, that was a three. Would have changed the whole.
Foster took another look, said that
yeah.
right toe is on the line, and it is. It's a 2. That man again at the line. Jamal Murray.
Don't he, Kenny?
116, 112, and the Denver Nuggets. Just like the San Antonio series, they went on to beat the Spurs in 7. We'll see how far this one goes. Game 5 is Tuesday in Denver. Here's Mike Malone.
It's kind of hanging in the balance. You know, you go down 1-3, we all know how that story ends. But our guys stepped up. We're never afraid. We stayed together. And I can't speak enough about the resiliency and toughness of our team.
Coach just spoke about this a little bit, but especially with the injuries Jamal's battled through, this series and really the entire playoffs, and how he's gone toe-to-toe with Damian Lillard here over the last few games, just what has that shown you about him?
Jamal Murray's got a tremendous amount of grit, toughness, and I know I use those words all the time, but I think it really applies to our group. You think about how young we are and what we're doing, going on the road and winning a tough Game 4 in a hostile environment has been phenomenal. This is our 11th playoff game, and our wins, Jamal Murray's stats are off the charts. But more importantly, how excited are you about our future? We have a chance to be a really good team for many, many years, and Jamal is going to be a really big part of that.
That win, huge for the Denver Nuggets. And Jokic, another triple-double, 4 of those in these playoffs. Murray, huge, back-to-back games of at least 30, had 34 tonight.
Knows what I'm about to say. When you're a go-to guy that likes to give up the ball, you guys play extra harder for you. So, Jokic is a go-to guy. Murray was the man tonight, but, Jokic really touches the ball a lot. But because he's a great passer, guys cut harder, they play harder, they're at their spots. He always makes the perfect pass. They always do it by delegation. It's always somebody different. But when your go-to guy gives up the ball, the others will play harder.
As I said when this playoff started, America are going to get to see the Big Honey. The passes he makes, when you've got a quarterback, there's a lot of quarterbacks can throw it through that wall, but they never can make the soft passes. He can throw it through a wall, and some of them passes he make from me to Kenny, he could catch it, he could just pass it. And sometimes you can catch guys off guards. They can pass the perfect speed. And to piggyback on what Shaq said, it would be fun to play with somebody like that who you all I got to do is move, and he going to hit me.
Yeah, it keeps everybody in the game.
Yeah, the thing he does is really unique. On a lot of teams, the guy's looking for their favorite player or the guy their number one player. He gets everybody involved.
And to me, just watching as a fan, it's the thing that hits me is watching the composure and the poise and the calm, no matter what point of the game it is. It's bang.
Yeah.
And he's been tremendous in this series.
Yeah, he has been. He's redefined the position because we've seen a point forward. Now we're seeing a point center. He's making passes. So it's interesting when I'm watching him. I'm thinking as a point guard, I'm like, oh, he's open. And I'm like, oh, but he's the center. So he's, again, I think I said this the other night, he's in the area of the floor 85% of the time where the point guard traditionally had been. And so all of those passes and everything he does. So if you look at Rondo, if you look at LeBron, Chris Paul, you look at all of the guys.
He's just the first guy who's 7 feet tall.
He's the first center
yes.
that play from that position. But the fours have been moving. Now we moved it to the 5 spot.
Yeah, look, we all know the numbers when it comes to being down 3-1. If that's where Denver found themselves, 238 and 11 when you're up 3-1. 238 and 11.
I want to give both of those teams a lot of credit. To play a 4 overtime game and come back this quickly and put on a tremendous performance. Shout out to the Blazers and the Nuggets.
116-112, the final, Game 5, Tuesday in here on TNT. And you follow Shaq suit down a rabbit hole. Ooh, that is mysterious. Why is the Jet dressed like Joe Pesci and My Cousin Vinny?
Actually, one of my five greatest movies.
All year, Andrew.
My Cousin Vinny is one of my 5 greatest movies ever. And you look like Joe Pesci.
I never looked.
What, you were serious about that? Okay.
You think it's funny?
When we come back, we're going to head to Philly. Game 4, Raptors and Sixers. Talk about another big road win.
Your grits and water soaking your grits.